Hi everyone, it's Diane from Boho Stamper. Welcome. Happy Monday. So, I hope you all had a great weekend. This is Sunday afternoon for me, so my weekend's not quite over yet, but everything's going okay. We're praying for a little bit of rain here. We could use some, and it's been so dark and cloudy all day. It's sort of a teaser. So, a couple of reminders. Celebration is in effect now until August 31st, so you can be earning free product for every $50 in merchandise that you purchase. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I have that. That's why I like it so much. Oh, yeah. That Wonderful World stamp set and designer series paper. We've used that a few times. I saw this card and I was like, oh, that's pretty. It is. Yeah, that's why I got it. Okay, so take advantage of the free items through August. The July shopping code is shown here. And in addition to the celebration free items, when you shop with Boho Stamper, I do send thank yous out to my customers. And when you purchase $50 or more during the month of July, you're going to get wonderful snowflakes as a thank you. And if you spend $100 or more in merchandise, you're going to get the snowflakes and some gold holly leaves. So remember to use the shopping code so that I'll get alerted that you shopped with me. Okay. So yesterday, for me, Saturday, was the scrap stamp art tour in Monroeville that I had told you guys I was anxious to go to. So I was really excited. Hubby took me down, and for the first time I got to do all the make and takes that were available to us. Usually something comes up or I can't get into the tables where they're having them because they're really busy. But I got to do all the stuff yesterday. All the stuffs. So I'm trying to find something to show this on, and I don't think it's going to work because I didn't color my background yet. So my very first make and take was a little embossing plate, and I don't have my pamphlet up here to give you the names of the the vendors that were there, but let me see, will this show up on purple? I don't know. Can you see the little hummingbird? So we had this little plate, and then we used our gosh, what are these called? I forget. Little embossing tools, right? So they have a small ball end on one side and then a little bit bigger end on the other side. And we've actually used these in a workshop that I did where we used, what did I use? A stencil maybe? I don't know, but we traced over on vellum with the ball, and then it leaves a little white outline. And then you take the side where you embossed, and you can use ink, paint, colored pencils. Oh, here. You know what? Let's just do this. This is blue. And then you add color to the side that you embossed. And when we turn it over, then our image is going to have some color to it, and we could add that to a card. That's not showing up really well. I really wanted to do this with my colored pencils. But anyways, that was my first take yesterday, or make I should say. And then I went to the one booth where they had these really cool glimmer sprays, and I got some of this stuff because that'd be really pretty for snowflakes. Glitter paint. And this is sort of like the embossing paste, maybe from some vendors, but because it's in this pouch with a screw top on it, you know, really stand the chance of it getting dried up inside. And if it does, then you just squeeze out the little part that's in the tube that got dried up, and everything else in the pouch stays soft and usable. So I thought that'll be fun to try on snowflakes this year. So that was another one. And then there's this really cool artist. She designs all of her stencils, and these were 5-step. Yep, there were 5 stencils, layering stencils. And so, you know, you do the light color leaf first, and then add a stencil and do a darker color over top, and then there were 3 for the peonies. And then, of course, they have dies and all kinds of stuff that go with it that would cut out the shapes, and you can cut that down and use it on a card. But it's a beautiful flower. And I did go in and look at the stuff, but we're watching the pennies right now for crafting supplies, and about the last thing I need to do is spend a ton of money on that. And of course, everything's separate, you know, the stencils and the die for it. Then this was another one. This was making a little flip card, which is actually a design that I ended up changing for our Tuesday workshop. This isn't a Stampin' Up set. These were already pre-stamped for us. We just made the card. They showed us how to do all the little mechanism in there and stuff, which was really fun. So anyways, I switched up my third project for our workshop and made it a Christmas card with that. So anybody who's coming to our workshop on Tuesday, we'll be making a little pool card. And what else did I make? I made, this one's tucked in paper because this was done with pan pastels. Cool, right? And we do have some pastels from Stampin' Up. I'm going to practice with this a little bit. With the ones that we have, these were pan pastels, which come in a little, they look like a makeup compact. And then they have special sponges that you can use. So, of course, you know, special products for everything. But it was fun. And I was excited to learn a couple new techniques and hopefully share those over the next few weeks with some cards that will do. I'm trying to find somewhere to put all this stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do today, I have yellow ink on me, is this little card. And I was inspired to make this card from Eileen Godwin, and I think she is I think she's on the design team for Lavinia Stamps, but she does wonderful paints. I love to watch people when they're painting, and she had done a card one day that I really liked. This was my first try at it, and I ended up making this too small because I tried to do the technique the same way she did, using painter's tape around the edge, and I ended up ripping my paper, so I had to cut it down real small. And anyway, so I played around with it, and I think I have a solution so we can do this. And I'm going to use, this is still available in the annual catalog, Forever Fern, just a very popular stamp set. We've had that for a long time. And the paper that I'm using some older paper. You can use whatever background paper you want to use. You can mix and match your greens up, as I did here, because I used the new Pear Pizzazz, but I have this on, Parakeet Party, but I have this on Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and that this background paper was from the Floral Romance. Boy, is that old. Wish I had a year on it. That's old. I think I still have some Forever Fern paper too. But I just wanted something green, but I wanted to make my rays in here kind of bright, sunshiny. Okay, So we're going to give this a go. So like I said, when I first watched Eileen do her card, she had taken painter's tape. Of course, she had a bigger piece of cardstock to start with too, because they're in the UK and a lot of their card sizes are different. But you could do this if you have a thinner tape. I just used what I had when I was trying this. And she lined it up along the edge of her card then, and it made a nice frame on the inside. But like I said, when I went to take mine off, I ripped it. So then I was going to cut that lengthwise to make it skinnier and just tack it off so that it wasn't so sticky and hope that it didn't rip my paper. And then I thought, you know what, I like this idea, so I'm just going to make a template for myself. Now, if you remember, we save acetate from our stamp sets and stuff, remember, because they always come in handy. And so I forgot to wipe this one off when I was done. I took a rectangular die, and I think this was from, you could use stitched rectangles or just your regular rectangle. This was seasonal frame thinlits. This is old, but I just saw a rectangle in there and thought, I'm just going to go ahead and make a template with that rectangle. So I took a piece of acetate and I cut the rectangle out of my center. So you could either be using now your painter's tape to make a border, or you could have cut a rectangle out of just plain old copy paper, some lightweight paper, so that you don't have too deep of an edge around your frame. I mean, even the acetate is a little bit thick. And then on my design, I used the stitchery stamps to add the stitching around the edge. If you don't have this, you can easily, and we might do this on this card. Not that one. That gray one go right here. Just with a Fineliner pen. And I wanted gray because I'm using basic gray for my leaves, so I don't want to use black. So if we're going to end up drawing our wobbly lines or stitched lines around there, then we should start off by just drawing lightly with a pencil the inside of our rectangle. And it doesn't have to be exactly straight because the stitched lines or the wobbly lines are going to be wobbly. So, okay, and then I think Eileen used a paintbrush, an angled paintbrush, but I used blending brushes because, you know, they're my best friends in the whole wide world. I love blending brushes. And instead of using these little leaves on this one out of the same Forever Fern set, I want to use these Chinese lanterns is what that reminds me of. And those little flowers that get those little balloons on them. Anyways, I'm going to try that. And because I still had bright colors out here from the card that I did on Friday, I'm still going to stick with Parakeet Party and Daffodil Delight. I'm using a plastic ruler. You could use, I think she used her T-square ruler. You could use, again, another piece of cardstock. Whatever you want to make a line. And we're going to find our point from which we want our leaves to come out of our stitching around here. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle. As a matter of fact, I think I want to do this one a little bit further down than I did my other one. And get my blending brush and load some green on here. Actually, I should have kept it a little bit more towards the front tip of the brush, because now I want to make some lines. And I'm going to vary the length of these lines. So there's our first one. I don't know. Yeah, you should be able to see that. And I would say, you know, her using the paintbrush probably did give a nice sharper edge to these rays that she created. But I don't really know that I have the same kind of paintbrush that she used. Oh, that got a little thicker on that side than I wanted. But got a nice line. Wipe some of that off. And I am wiping the edge of my ruler because now I'm going to go into my yellow and I don't want to smear that green ink. So use some Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm going to load some ink onto the edge of my paintbrush or blending brush and make a couple rays coming out of my center there. Ooh, I smeared that one. Oh, and I dropped my ruler. Oh, I just made a mess. Will I be able to save this? I don't know that I will. We're gonna do a little stencil too, but I'm just going to start on the other side. I'm not being happy with how thick I'm making my lines there either. I don't like it that thick. I didn't do that on the first one. I think I'm putting too much ink on my blending brushes. Need a lighter hand. I practiced this a couple of times, but, you know, never kind of goes the way you want it to, right? All right, I'll stick with my yellow and try not to drop it this time. There you go, lighter hand. Make the edge of my ruler. Lighter hand. That's better. Much better. And I'm actually putting the edge of my blending brush up against my ruler. That's how I created the lines before. I've got to turn the air down up here. It's getting a little warm. Alright, now let's add some green in here. That's making me happier. Your grand doggies down there. Okay, so I have 5 lines, and because we like working in odd numbers, even though my other one I think had 6, we're going to let that sit for a minute. And then I'd love to tell you which set of masks this is from. This is a Stampin' Up set, but I don't have the package from it, so I don't really remember. So I'm going to take one of my masks or stencils, if you're old school like I am, And this is different than the one I used last time. That's okay, because we're not doing everything exactly the same, right? Right. And I'm just going to line that up because I'm adding a little bit of color behind this just for some interest. And I'm using Pool Party. And I got the ink on my brush. Brushed a little bit off on my scrap paper. And then very lightly, because remember, when we're using stencils and blending brushes, we can add more, but we can't take away. I'd like to get those 3 dots there. Got one. I should have put tape on my card so I didn't get it off of the edge. Maybe I'll be lucky. A little bit. Oh, that's good. Because we kind of want the edge to be a little bit faded so that it goes out into the rays that we created. Then we're going to use, where my little stamp go, and basic gray. I just thought basic gray would probably work better than black. I still have my stitching out here. And if I were to use my stitching, I would do it before I take my template off of there so that it doesn't go clear across the edge of the card. Unless you want it to go across the edge of the card. I didn't want mine to. Oh, okay, so I have my lines drawn. Now I do want to take my template off because I'm going to stamp that leaf a little bit over my line that I drew. Is this all making sense? I don't know if I'm explaining myself. This is a little bit different than what we usually do. But that's okay because I don't want to do the same old, same old. I'm going to get bored. Can't get bored. All right, let's see. How's that look? I think that'll be good. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my little central point here where my rays are coming out. I want my stem to come from that central point, but the leaves can go over the edge a little bit. I don't care. That's fine. And then let's stamp off once and make another little branch. I didn't get that one very good. Oh, I know why. I forgot to put my mat under. Ding dong. That's where I'll put my greeting. And then one more towards the bottom. Okay, I like it. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, where'd my chamois go? And then my other one just said, hello, hello. I like to a friend that makes me smile. And I need to see if this is going to stamp straight because I haven't used that one for a while. So, oh, whoa. This is kind of crooked font anyway. Got it figured. So there's that. Now, close up my ink, so I'm going to put my hand in there. Move my mat, and got my little fine tip pen. And now I'm just going to, on my own camera, I'm just going to trace, but not being too straight, my little pencil lines that I made. And this is a gray pen. And then we're going to do it again. This was a 4 and, oh, I turn this upside down, 4 by 5 1/4. And I left it large when I was doing my inking because I thought if I messed up, I would want to be able to trim off a little bit more if I needed to. But I think it's okay, so I'm just going to go back now and trim a 1/4 inch off of each side. Remember, when we trim, we do all 4 sides, not just 2. And then that leaves us with, so 3.5 by 5, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I only trim that down because I do have that pretty paper for in the background. And if I leave it at 4 by 5 1/4, that doesn't really allow me too much. Where did I put it? There it is. Oh, I don't think I cut it down. This was 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Oh. And I didn't get refills for my Stampin' Up! Plus, so I'm using my Amazon tape runner. I gotta tell you, I had ordered a stamp set that I wanted to use for my Tuesday's workshop. And it was supposed to be here yesterday, Saturday. And didn't come, and when I checked tracking, it's not coming until Tuesday. So that is 9 days to get my order. So I guess I better make sure I order 2 Stampin' Up! Plus. I don't want to run out. Then I think I'm going to add a couple of these little, oh, I'm going to have to get, oh no, I have another pack. I was going to say these Parakeet Party dots are perfect with the yellow and there we go. I think I like it. This is really pretty. We could do this same technique and use Nature's Prints and use this little poppy looking flower. I think that would be pretty with it. Yeah. So there we go. I didn't add any dots on that one. I should, huh? Yep. And I think then we're going to call this one a day. I think I'm going to put 5 on that one. Excuse me. So there we go. All right, guys. Go give that a try. Draw some little lines there. Or paint some little lines, or whatever you want to call them. Blend some little lines. But send a card. Make somebody happy today. Let them enjoy hearing from you and know that someone's thinking about them. Okay? And so, until next week or Friday, if you have a few minutes and you stop on by Friday, if I can get those pastels working, we might play with those on Friday. So until then, thanks for being with me and have a lovely week, everyone. Bye.